I want to talk about rock bottom. We'll all go through this point where we hit our own individual rock bottom. And I want to talk about why rock bottom is not the worst place to be. I've hit my share of rock bottoms. I've been in that hopeless, deeply ungrounded, unsettling place, more times than sometimes I'd like to admit. But what I've learned about hitting rock bottom is that when you allow yourself to understand the purpose of it, you can utilize this broken energy to really decisively put yourself back together in a way that would not have been possible if you had not gone through this total ego death and deconstruction. Because it's through the shedding of these skins, or the walls that we basically build around ourselves, this ego we create, that oftentimes we have locked ourselves out of the true emanation and the true experience of the totality of it, the expression of love. And a lot of times in terms of manifestation, we have manifested our own rock bottom for a higher spiritual purpose. When we're not in line with our own guidance system, when we're not listening to our own heart and our own soul's path, essentially spirit and our own beingness will cause things to fall apart because we're not on the right path. And it's through the losing of those things and the shedding of that which is not serving you, that you are in a way debased. You are kind of burnt down to nothing. And the cool thing though, when you go through this process, is what is left is the real authentic you. What remains when you burn everything away is this innocent, pure energy that was always you. And you get to look at it and you get to really understand the core of who you are without all the fluff, without all the excess. And when you can rebuild yourself from this true, authentic, innocent place, this place of purity, and when you start to rebuild with this attitude of diligence and also insight, because rock bottom offers you such a depth of insight, and just the contrast that is created from pain and suffering holds so much value when you start to really analyze the self. So this is why it's important to look at these moments when we are falling apart or when everything is essentially washed away with so much reverence, and to really take them for the beautiful gift that they are and do the work. Start laying the foundation of who and what you want to be with integrity, with intention, and with the knowing of the journey you've already been through. And that's kind of the key, is that a lot of times when we set out in life, we actually don't take the time to build any kind of structure to it, or we don't think about those foundational principles, integrity, our morals, our spiritual center. We just sort of start doing things haphazardly, and of course that's how we learn. So there's nothing wrong in it. I'm not trying to teach that unconscious living is wrong. It's experimental. It's on that frontier of really what one can experience. But where we really hit that zone of knowing ourselves is when we start to create that version of us that's built on our spiritual center. And you know what, the timeline of this is different for everyone. I know individuals that, are in their 20s that really have a deep spiritual center and an amazing infrastructure, and have taken the time to really build this, through their younger years and their teenage years. And a lot of that can come from a really solid family dynamic, and that's fabulous. We need more of that in this world. And I know people that are in their 50s and 60s and 70s that are just starting to figure out their direction and, maneuvering their compass into that spiritual center. And the timeline, it doesn't matter. You get there when you get there. And it's the journey that is the living, that is the beautiful part of it, So taking that stress away from the process of it, taking the expectations off of yourself and just realizing that no matter what stage of the game that you're at, as long as you are still playing it, as long as you are still putting in that work and asking those questions and showing up for yourself, that's all that matters. That's all that matters. And, definitely there's going to be times where we give up on ourselves, whether it's some sort of an addiction, whether it's depression, whatever it is, there's always a new day. If you're still here, if you're still breathing, if you're not 6 feet under, there's always a chance to make tomorrow or today. I mean, not even talk about tomorrow, to make today the best day you've ever had, the best day yet, the best version of yourself can come into fruition at any moment. Yes, in a certain sense, you have to choose that. You have to stand up and start loving yourself and start giving yourself the permission to experience life in this way. I don't think anybody has ever done anything, beautiful or monumental without that element of self-love. And it's okay to love yourself, even if you've done things that you feel, how could anybody love me? How could I be worthy of love after doing these things, or failing in this way, or, not being that perfect version? But again, that circles back to the way that God loves, the way that God forgives, the way that there is mercy in each and every moment. And if you can just see that mercy is for you as well, that's the gift. That is the gift of this entire journey. So don't be afraid of rock bottom. It has its purpose. It has its magic and its miracles. All right, I'm going to sign off on this video.